I think Jody and Brenda are going Friday to help.
All right.
Yeah. My computer.
Good evening, everyone. At this time, I'll call to order the regularly scheduled board meeting for the Village of Midlothian, Wednesday, April 27th, 2022, at 7 p.m. Roll call, please. Clerk Mosk.
Trustee Burback? Here. Trustee Paving?
Here.
Trustee Crowley?
Here.
Trustee Hilly?
Here.
Trustee Johnson?
Here.
Trustee Killily? Disconnected him instead of taking him off. Mayor LaRue?
Here.
We have a quorum.
Okay. All right, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance and remain standing for a moment of silence for our fallen veterans. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Hold on a second.
Hello, Trustee Killily. Sorry we lost you.
Okay.
All right, let the record reflect that Trustee Killily is joining the meeting by telephone. So let's move on to public comment. Is there any public comment tonight? Yes, sir.
Last meeting, concerned about the car jacked up on Home Avenue by the apartments. Just wondering whose responsibility is it? It's on the easement right of way. The rear wheel is completely off. It's been like that now for 3 weeks. If somebody should get hurt, or the kids are playing around there, or somebody bumps it with their car, who's responsible? The village or the individual has the car? How does that work?
Well, it's the village's responsibility to address the issue, but Lieutenant,
I believe.
were you made aware?
I believe Chief Delaney actually had somebody go out and look at it last week, and I believe they addressed it. He unfortunately had something come up today, and he wasn't here, but I'll make sure I give you a call during the week with the report when he comes back to work.
Okay.
Okay, you're welcome.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Yes, sir. I guess I should start asking for names and addresses.
Filed for a variance 3 weeks ago. I just wanted to see if there's any kind of updates or anything on Waverly 14371, the fire in the garage.
For the garage?
Yes.
This is for the variance to have the garage rebuilt, and the zoning board agreed at the meeting that it could be rebuilt, but it had to be rebuilt smaller because the original structure was lying halfway into the floodway.
Right.
So,
And didn't the board approve that variance?
well, we approved in theory of the variance, but we don't have an ordinance.
Oh.
We're required to approve it via ordinance, so Attorney Valadez was gonna talk to, I don't believe you were at that hearing. I believe Peter Murphy was at that hearing. So I believe Attorney Valadez was waiting for, what is it?
The findings.
The findings, because the meeting minutes are not the appropriate record to use for the ordinance. They have to have the findings document to attach as an exhibit to the ordinance, and the ordinance has to be drafted.
So who's gonna,
Mr. Murphy.
can we double check with him? Very sorry. The board, tentatively, like you heard us say, tentatively approved it. We just have to put an ordinance together, approve the ordinance, and make it official. So, a couple weeks?
Next week, yeah. That shouldn't-
Is there any way that we could, since it's in the back, can we add the 5 feet to the front of it to keep the structure the same size?
No. No.
Whatever the findings were, the board agreed to that, and that's what's gonna be in the ordinance. So.
Right.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
No one else? All right, I will close the floor to public comment and move on to tonight's consent agenda. Number one, approval of, can you hear me? I don't sound as loud as usual. Approval of Resolution 22-0427-A, setting fee schedules for the Village of Midlothian, Cook County, Illinois. Number two, approval to engage Carpet Crafters, Inc. to install new carpet tiles for the Village Hall office area in the amount of $8,596.68. Number three, approval to engage S&J Doors to replace the hardware on the Village Hall exterior, we say the council chambers exterior doors in the amount of $3,150. Number 4, approval to engage Southwest Town Mechanics to replace the boiler at Fire Station 1 in the amount of $37,840. Number 5, approval to dispose Police Squad number 402, a 2004 Ford Taurus. Number 6, approval of the March 2022 Administration Department Monthly Report. Number 7, approval of the March 2022 Building Department Monthly Report. Number 8, approval of the March 2022 Fire Department Monthly Report. Number 9, approval of the March 2022 Police Department Monthly Report. Number 10, approval of the March 2022 Public Works Department Monthly Report. Number 11, approval of the April 2022 Treasurer's Report. And number 12, approval of the list of bills. Is there any item any trustee would like off of tonight's consent agenda?
Yes, Mayor. Items 2 and 7, please.
2 and 7. All right, anyone else? Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve tonight's consent agenda without items 2, which is the approval to engage Carpet Crafters, Inc. To install new carpet tiles for the Village Hall, and also number 7, approval of the March 2022 Building Department Monthly Report.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Any discussion? Roll call, please.
Trustee Paving,
Aye.
Trustee Crowley,
Aye.
Trustee Burbett,
Aye.
Trustee Hilly,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Killily. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you, sir. Then at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the motion for approval to engage Carpet Crafters, Inc. to install new carpet tiles for the Village Hall office area in an amount of $8,596.68.
I'll make the motion, and we'll have a discussion, right?
I'll
Yes.
second.
Any discussion?
Okay, per my email to everybody, I was hoping that we could approve this with the not-to-exceed amount for the carpeting for the front area, but instead of putting carpeting in the break room and the restroom, we would swap that carpet material out for some type of vinyl tile. So we would still have to get a quote on that.
They were out already, they looked at it, he just didn't have enough time to get me the measurements.
That's okay.
For the price.
What
But yeah.
what you said he would do was, would
Yeah,
take
he's
off
gonna
this
give
amount.
me- Yeah, we'll take it off of that, then we'll do separate with the other floor.
Okay.
Okay. Then, I don't know what a not-to-exceed number would be, but I don't want to hold up. I mean, I would be okay with,
I would suggest just keep it, not to exceed this, but
Okay.
it's definitely gonna be lower if you're
Okay.
gonna deduct that area.
Okay. Makes sense. So, we don't really need to change the wording. It's in the amount of,
not to exceed $8,500, but just for the office, carpeting in the office area only?
You could, but the motion is sufficient in itself because it still authorizes
Oh,
the
the
installation below the amount.
Okay, that's fine.
And it just says Village Hall office, it doesn't say anything about the break room.
Oh, okay, that's fine.
anyone else? Roll call, please, Clerk Masko.
Trustee Paving,
Aye.
Trustee Crowley,
Aye.
Trustee Burbett,
Aye.
Trustee Hilly,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Killily. Aye. Motion carries.
Thank you. And is there a reason you took the other one
Oh,
off?
there was just a typo on the face page. It still said February, not March.
All right, so at this time, I'm looking for a motion to approve the March 2022 Building Department Monthly Report.
I'll make the motion.
I'll second.
Okay.
And we just need to correct the face page. Karina actually sent me a corrected document, and I forgot to get it over to Maria. My fault.
Face page has the wrong date.
It says it says February instead of March on it, so I just didn't want there to be any confusion when it went into the official final record and file.
All right. Anything else?
No, sir.
All right, roll call, please, Clerk Masko.
Trustee Paving,
Aye.
Trustee Crowley,
Aye.
Trustee Burbett,
Aye.
Trustee Hilly,
Aye.
Trustee Johnson,
Aye.
Trustee Killily. Aye. Motion carries.
All right, we'll move on to trustee business. Trustee Johnson.
Thank you, Mayor. At this time, I have nothing to report.
Thank you, ma'am. Trustee Burbett.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Hilly.
Nothing to report tonight, Mayor.
Trustee Paving.
Thank you, Mayor. The only thing I have to report at this tonight's meeting is the CRS 2022 Flood Insurance Assessment Report. This is a new CRS requirement that FEMA has and NFIP has asked all of the CRS communities to report on. And for those new to watching our meetings or attending our meetings, CRS stands for Community Rating System. And the village joined the Community Rating System back in April of 2018. And by joining the Community Rating System, all of our residents who are required to carry NFIP flood insurance receive a 15% discount on their premium. If there's anybody out there watching or listening that do have FEMA flood insurance and they are not getting a 15% discount, please contact your insurance agent right away, or you can contact me at the Village Hall, and I can provide you with the official letter that the village received from FEMA confirming that we are a CRS community and that the 15% discount on your premium is valid.
Kathy, could we have that put on the website?
I believe the letter is on the website. If you go to the website, go under Department, Building Department, Community Rating System page, the letter is listed, it was just added. The letter is on the CRS page on the village website.
Thank you.
So FEMA had, as a matter of awareness, so that the village board and village residents and property owners are aware of our flood insurance premiums in the village, they have asked all of us to provide this information publicly. And this letter will also be placed on the village website. So currently, the number of buildings in the village of Midlothian that are mapped into the special flood hazard area, which is the area that requires flood insurance, is 671 buildings. Based on this information and based on the number of policies that are in force, approximately 22% of the buildings located in the special flood hazard area are covered by flood insurance. We have, based on insurance zones, we have a total of 156 policies in place. The annual dollar amount of those premiums for those 156 policies is $197,000. The amount of insurance in force is I believe, based on value of home, is $25,166,900, and the average amount of coverage is $161,000. So based on the values, the average values of homes in the village of Midlothian, and based on this average coverage amount of $161,326, it seems as though the coverage that most of our residents have in flood insurance is not, it might be adequate to cover their mortgage, but it's not adequate enough to cover the value of their home. And recently, as of October of 2021, FEMA has revised their NFIP program, and they are changing the way that their insurance premiums are being underwritten to be a little bit more fair, and they are starting to eliminate the situation of raising premiums. Like when there's a disaster, it seems like when there's a disaster, everyone in the country's insurance goes up because of the disaster that doesn't happen in your community. And they are trying to start to mitigate that situation so that NFIP premiums don't go up. And they're starting to, the underwriting for NFIP premiums now is a lot more technical, and it's going to start to be a little bit more fair across the board for everyone. So the Village of Midlothian, we began the process of reviewing all of our insurance premiums with the intent of learning where flood insurance policies were concentrated and what would be needed to be done to try to increase the awareness and the importance of protecting property with flood insurance. So our ISO CRS specialist provided us with the insurance zone and the insurance occupancy information that we needed to calculate the information that you see in the data tables in front of you. And this document will also be put on the village website, so it'll be available to all the residents and all the anybody who wants to look at it can take a look at it. So we summarize that the most vulnerable properties, specifically those in the special flood hazard area, do not have adequate insurance coverage, particularly those in the AH zones. And again, according to our numbers, only 22% of the properties in the special flood hazard area have insurance coverage. We also took a look at the claims paid to the policyholders. In the village, we have 6 repetitive loss properties. A repetitive loss, and that hasn't changed in 5 years. Which is a good thing. A repetitive loss property is a property that is identified as having more than one claim filed, I believe, in a 10-year period. So we have 6 repetitive loss properties, 156 policies in force, and 130 paid claims. Let's see. So it's recommended, if possible, with the support of our Regional Flood Insurance Mitigation Division, Region 5, that's the FEMA region that we're located in, and the village staff, and myself as the CRS coordinator, and of course the village board, that additional funding be made available to support several new outreach projects geared towards increasing the awareness of flood hazards in our area, and also to promote the importance of having flood insurance for property protection. So some of those projects would include, but not be limited to, us providing more increased direct mailings to the residents in the special flood hazard areas with new information as to how NFIP is now calculating flood insurance premiums, and having direct contact in these areas with different community and neighborhood events, and also increasing our outreach with social media and our village website and other digital media that's available to us. So does anybody have any questions with regards to this? I know it's a lot of information to
that was a
take
lot.
in. It's it seems like very complicated. It took me a little bit to get my head wrapped around it. But basically, this is kind of the stepping off point. I'm going to be using this as my first documentation to get that out to the community, but also to start in the next 6 to 12 months, starting to get more information out to the community with regards to flood insurance. And I know flood insurance is a sore subject for a lot of people. Especially we do have a particular neighborhood in town that, to my knowledge, has never flooded, and it's in a flood zone, and people are required to carry flood insurance, and they never flood. So we're going to be trying to get some information to them as well to help them figure out how they can mitigate the amount of flood insurance they have to pay, and possibly eliminate it altogether if they would secure an elevation certificate on their property. Elevation certificate is basically a survey, but it's let me get this phrase right. It's more of a topographical survey that measures the elevation of your home and compares it to the base flood elevation. And if your home sits higher than a base flood elevation, I believe by 12 inches, then there's a good possibility your home can come out of the flood zone, and then you don't have to pay flood insurance. So we just a matter of more public outreach and more education to the public. So if nobody has any questions.
I have one question not regarding that. Did you hear anything yet from the land bank about the pins, the properties that they were going to try and acquire? I know you were on an extended vacation and enjoying yourself for the last 2 weeks while the rest of us were here in miserable weather, but sorry.
But I did come back to all of you and this miserable weather. No, in fact, we were supposed to have a conference call with them yesterday, and at the last minute, the attorney couldn't attend because she got called to jury duty, so we're rescheduling the meeting for next week.
Okay.
And I have added a couple of we're going to talk to her about a bunch of different properties, because there are a couple of vacant properties in town that I thought we could add to the list, except one of them is not just in the flood zone, it's in the floodway. So I'm not sure how that would work.
Okay.
I don't know if that would be better off being raised and turned into a parking lot. I'm not sure. But I realize that public comment is over, but since I brought up flood insurance, is there anybody here in the audience that has any questions for what I just read? No?
I think
Okay.
you lost them.
Probably. I feel like I lost myself halfway through. Okay, and that's all I have. But I do want to say, the village has been part of the community rating system since 2018, and this year was our 5-year review. And while I was away, myself, Engineer Huss, Superintendent Sperry, and I don't know if that was a promotion or a demotion there, James, sorry. Superintendent Sperry and Superintendent Weiner were very, very helpful in, again, assisting me in gathering all the documentation that we needed. When you go through a 5-year review, it's almost like reapplying from scratch for CRS. So it was quite a bit of documentation that we had to pull together, and many, many thanks to Engineer Huss for being the record keeper and compiling it all and getting it nicely zipped together and sent off to Luann ahead of schedule. And we are having our 5-year review meeting with Luann, who is our CRS person, in May, on May 19th. And that's all I have.
Thank you. I knew the minute Trustee Caveney got back into town because my daily emails skyrocketed. And I think a lot of you know who I'm talking about. All right.
More than 50 words?
Trustee Kelly?
In
You have
total,
anything
maybe.
tonight?
Yeah, thank you, Mayor. Just to remind everybody about the Beautification Committee meeting tomorrow at the Historical Society at 7:15. Anybody's welcome. Come with questions, comments, your presence, and we welcome everybody. So it's tomorrow at the Historical Society at 7:15. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Trustee Crowley.
Thank you, sir. Just a couple reminders. We still do have spots available for the Junk in the Trunk, which is held the same day as Mars Day, the Midlothian Area Garage Sale, which is May 7th. The form can be found on the village website or on the CPC or CPC webpage. I'm sorry, Facebook page. National Night Out this year, we're starting to plan already, and that will be August 2nd of this year. So mark your calendars. Our Independence Day Parade, we had an Independence Day Parade meeting on Monday, and we're moving forward. Everything's going as scheduled right now, and that is set for June 25th. We have had to push back our groundbreaking of the police department by a week due to scheduling and weather. The landscaping company has not been able to clear the site, but we are hoping to have it done by Friday or Monday, and we will schedule a groundbreaking for the 2nd or 3rd week in May. And that is all I have this evening.
Why do you have the general liability workman's comp insurance renewal on the agenda?
Oh, because I forgot. That was for discussion. Treasurer Britton had sent out an email earlier. I apologize, Treasurer, forgot it was on there. Treasurer Britton had sent out an email earlier in the week regarding the insurance. If everybody could take a look at it and review it, and then we will be able to, if you give us any questions, we can answer them, and we can approve it at next week's meeting. Right?
Thank you.
Yeah. Yeah, OPEP.
Oh, who?
OPEP.
Is that it?
That's all I have, sorry.
Thank you, ma'am. Move on to department head, Chief Hotwagner.
Yes, sir. Just like to thank Deputy Chief McClellan. He applied for a grant with CSX Railroad and received a check yesterday for $2,500 for his tools and equipment. So, small grant, but $2,500 works
What's it go for?
towards tools and equipment.
Okay, perfect.
That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Lieutenant Emery.
I've got nothing tonight, Mayor.
Well, thanks for showing up anyways.
Thank you.
Superintendent Sperry.
Just a reminder, branch pickup this week is in the southwest quadrant. That ends on Friday, and then next week will be the northwest quadrant. That's all I have.
Thank you, sir. Engineer Huss.
Thank you, Mayor. Something very brief tonight. Between Superintendent Sperry and I, we've been working with IDOT and the county on the village's annual paving program. We've had the outfit from the county for a while. We just recently received it from the state of Illinois. So we will be expending some MFT dollars, our CDBG grant, and the Rebuild Illinois dollars that have been deposited into the village's account over the last couple of years for a very nicely sized paving program throughout the village. We will be opening bids on May 27th for that project. And that's all I have.
Thank you, sir. And that will be for this year's resurfacing?
Correct.
Nice. All right. Thank you, sir. Ms. Harris?
The only thing I have is just going to go over some March totals. Our PSN uploads were 1,399. We had 537 phone calls, 1,472 transactions. We did assist the zoning board of appeals with their certification and non-certification classification bulk mailing. We assisted the billing department as well with the CRS 320-1, 2021 CRS 501.3, and the CRS 2022-360 flood protection mailings. I do also want to remind the residents that the online portal for our village stickers is going live on Sunday, May 1st. So you can start purchasing your stickers then. Also, Trustee Paving shared an email with me that had the South Suburban Housing Center's flyer. So if anybody needs their assistance with their mortgage, they can log on to our village website. It is placed on the Facebook page as well as our website under news and announcements. So if anybody's interested, some good information. And that's all I have.
Thank you, ma'am. Deputy Clerk Kalaki?
I have none.
Thank you, ma'am. Treasurer Britton?
I have nothing, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you, ma'am. Attorney Valdez?
My items are all for closed session.
Thank you. Under my business, I'd like to start off with this proclamation. This is the proclamation. It's the 53rd Annual Professional Municipal Clerk Week's proclamation, May 1st through May 7th, 2022. Whereas the office of Professional Municipal Clerk is a time-honored and vital part of local government and exists throughout the world, and whereas the office of Professional Municipal Clerk is the oldest among public servants, and whereas the office of Professional Municipal Clerk provides a professional link between the citizens, the local governing bodies, the agencies of government, and at other levels, and whereas professional municipal clerks have pledged to be ever mindful of their neutrality and impartiality in rendering equal service to all, and whereas the professional municipal clerk serves as the information center on functions of local government and community, and whereas professional municipal clerk continually strive to improve the administration of the affairs of the office of the professional municipal clerk through participation in education programs, seminars, workshops, and the annual meetings of their state, provincial, county, and international professional organizations. And whereas it is most appropriate that we recognize the accomplishments of the office of the professional municipal clerk, now therefore I, Gary LaRue, Mayor of the Village of Midlothian, do hereby recognize the week of May 1st through May 7th, 2022 as Professional Municipal Clerks Week, and further extend appreciation to our professional municipal clerk, Alan Moskal, and to all the professional municipal clerks for the vital services they perform and their exemplary dedication to the communities they represent, proclaim this 27th day of April 2022. Speech. I've always said the clerk's office is the most important office in the village, and I'll stand by that any day. What I personally witness Clerk Moskal do and what I hear him do from other people is quite extraordinary, and we're very fortunate to have it. Thank you.
Behind every good clerk is a good deputy clerk, so thanks to
All right, my other item, I invited Tom Myatt here, who's our retired health inspector. He told me he was coming, but apparently he's not, so how would you like me to handle this? Try again?
Do it next week? Yeah,
Try
or
it
in
again,
2
right?
weeks? Yeah. Yeah.
We got him a gold watch. Got him a certificate.
How about gold letters on the paper?
Gold letters on the paper. That's right.
Oh, he looks
Sorry,
like
Tom.
a Harley?
We had a Harley for you, but we have to give it back now.
Yeah,
All right, so we'll save it for next, maybe we'll get him to the next board meeting.
yeah.
All right, then that is all I have. Clerk Moskal?
I just have 2 items. Clearly, spring is in the air. We've got our first 2 requests for block parties. this year. The first is for Monday, the 4th of July, on the 146th block of Sawyer, at noon. We have to find the closing time. They just said starting at noon. And the other is for the 143rd block of Keystone on Saturday, July 16th, from noon until 11. Both of the forms have several neighbors on the block who have agreed with the request. Does the board have any concerns about these?
No, I'm okay with them.
Okay, very good.
And would anyone want to do that? You know, that's the number one question.
I understand that neither of them, both of them, no, I take that back. The Keystone has requested the police department and the fire department,
Perfect.
but none for the other one. So we will get copies of these two
Thank you.
departments. And that is all I have tonight.
All right, thank you. And I forgot this, Chief Hotwanger, I did get the letter asking for the approval authorization to notify the Fire and Police Commission to proceed with sending the next eligible full-time firefighter applicant from the list. You have the approval, okay. All right, that's all I have. Then I guess at this time, I'm looking for a motion to adjourn to closed session to discuss the appointment, employment, compensation, discipline, performance, or dismissal of a specific employee of the public body or legal counsel for the public body, and also to discuss litigation when an action against, affecting, or on behalf of the particular public body has been filed or is impending in court.
So moved.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed? There will be no further action following closed session. All right, we're in closed session.
Thank you.